Okay. Darnell Patton is not here yet. Yes, he's here. Not here. Let's see who is here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Dr. Lyle. I think
Hello.
you'll be in on the second group.
Okay.
That will start 10:30. That's okay. You can stay. You have. Dr. Patton is here. Dr. Mike. Is here. Jeff. I need to wait for Dr. Jeff Jafari. Only Dr. Jeff Jafari is not here yet. Sonia, please mute your Sonia Pereira. I don't know who is. You are not one of the professors, right? You need to mute your microphone, please, Sonia. Thank you. Layal, mute your microphone. Enjoy. Scalzo, need to mute the microphone, please, until we start.
Yeah, hello, Professor Nelson. How are you?
Fine.
This is Sarah.
Need to mute the microphone.
Yeah, this is Sarah.
Layal, DIdi, and Joyce Scalzo.
Are you listening?
Yes.
Okay.
The microphone need to be mute now. Yeah. It's not mute. Okay. I did by here. It's only because each one will have your time to talk. Dr. Joy Scalzo, I can mute him. I mute, but come back. It's okay.
They are
now.
muted, Professor Nilsa. Yeah.
You could hear me.
All muted. Yeah.
I am mute? No. Can you hear me, right? Yes, I am okay here. Dr. Joyce Scalzo, please mute your microphone. I try to do, but I can't hear. I do and come back. Need to be mute, everybody. Only when they ask it, we'll start with Judilyn. I'll see if all the professors are here because I don't think so. Professor Darnell Patton, I think is here. No, it's not here yet. Dr. Patton? No.
No, I'm here.
I here. Okay. And Dr. Mike. Mike, this is the Mike Alter pilot. Mike Abayello. Mike. Professor Mike. Professor Jeff. Jeff Jafari. Professor Jeff Jafari.
Yeah, he has apologized actually.
Okay.
He has some emergency.
What?
I think the audio is finally working for me.
Yeah,
Sarah,
hello. Can you
can-
hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Professor
Yes.
Jeff here has apologized for this meeting.
Is not coming. Okay.
Yeah.
Then have more time for the others. We have plus 1 minute.
Okay.
5 minutes for each. Okay, and Dr. Mabel, Ione. Dr. Mabel is here, right? I verified it. I think Dr. Mabel is here.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here.
she's present.
Okay. And Mabel and Joseph Scaus. I think all the professors are here. And I can start talk about what I did with the students. Can I start now, Sarah? Instead is 9:36.
Yeah, sure.
When I get this class, I think I make the structure like how you grow to building your thesis. And I set up the structure of this class since the beginning. For them, in the beginning, they don't have so much patience because they want to write. But in the middle of this class, they understand how it's important for them to start with the how to set up their reference, how to deal with their research questions, how to make the abstract, the introduction, how to the structure of the thesis need to be. After that, they understand everything, they could read and start to write. And after they wrote the literature review, they we start to talk about methodology. I gave all the structure of methodology, all the types of methodology they could apply, some suggestions, because it's difficult for them to make this research sometimes in some place. They need permissions and this and that. And they chose their topics in the beginning. We made adjustments during this writing because need to be done. They learn about APA, how is important to have all the format and all the things set up in their forms, and how they can explain. The most of them use the mixed methods, and how they set up their tables, how it's important to show tables in their methodology, and to clarify their findings and conclusion. And also, if they could explain based on their research, the research questions, it's fine, but they could make recommendations as well for the end. And I think the most of them did a good job. And I am sure the 2 students are not here today. They did very well as well, because since the beginning, they provide substantial work. And I reviewed the thesis, and they did strong papers, the most of them. After that, some delay a little bit, but I tried to push. And I think was a great work with this team. And I feel proud of them because some come from didn't understand, and in the end they provide a good job. And I feel very happy with the results. I only have one student couldn't finish because the job, he has struggle in his job and something, but he's a good student. I'm sure he'll do in the future. And the other 2 will present in the next opportunity because problems with jobs as well, but they set up everything as well, is ready. And we can start. And I think we can start with Judilyn. Judilyn will be today our first student to be questioned. People will question you some doubts or something they need to understand about your thesis, Judilyn. And I'm sure you can answer with confidence and with a good results that you can do. You did a good job, I'm sure. And we have now Judilyn. I want to put your camera on. Judilyn Badaka, are you there?
Oh, hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
It's your time. And
yeah.
put your camera on, please.
I'm sorry I cannot put on my camera. It's working time here, and I'm just asked permission to do this.
Yes,
It's
you have
it's
permission.
7:40. No, I asked the permission to my boss to do this. It's
Oh.
7:41 here, and I'm working.
Okay, but
Yeah, so is that okay? Or if it's not okay, then I can cancel in and I can have it on Saturday because that's
no,
my
you are
day
not
off.
cancel anything. You are okay here. Can we start with you?
Sure, but I'm asking if it's okay if I cannot open my cam.
Okay. We wait for your camera, but we can start now. And I think the professors receive your thesis. And if the professor Dado Patton want to question anything, and it's open because we have 20 minutes for this presentation. We have 5 minutes for each professor to talk. And you can start, Professor Daniel Patton. Dr. Patton, please.
At this moment, I don't have a question as of yet, but I'm sure I will as she goes through her presentation.
Okay. Then, Judilyn, begin your presentation. You can present something how you did. I'll give some minutes for you, not extend so much, but more overview about your thesis.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, again. The title of my thesis study is about where am I? It's about the role of the business and leisure travel in driving growth and innovation. I choose this topic because I love traveling and I want to know which am I doing it right, or sometimes I do my pleasure and sometimes we have negative impact to our environment. So this is my motivation why I do this research. And I use the mixed research methodology because I want to know each traveler's point of view, how and why they want to travel. And I have a little bit recommendation at the end of the part for me to recommend.
Okay. Professor Patton, do you have any question for Julie?
No, I just have a comment at this stage. So, Julie, I understand, you feel like you got elephant on your shoulders. Just relax. This is, you are the subject matter expert in what you researched. So just relax, take a deep breath, and I'm pretty sure you have this with no problem. So just take a deep breath and go ahead and, decompress, and then go ahead and get at it. That's it.
Thank you,
Okay.
Professor.
Professor Mike. Professor Mike?
He's not present.
Professor Mike is there?
No.
No? Professor Jeff didn't come as well. Professor Mabel, you on the slide. I think all the professors received the thesis, right?
No, I didn't receive the thesis.
No, because I think Julie, no, Sarah, I think you sent to them, no? The thesis or the abstract. Do you have any questions, Dr. Judilyn, or she need to explain better her research? Because I suppose, I think you received the thesis, all the professors received the thesis. Sarah.
Yeah, actually, they received it, but part of the present professors are expected to attend for the second part of the meeting. Like, yeah, Professor Layal, yeah, you are welcome, of course, to attend from the beginning, but you can participate in the second part of the meeting for the other 3 students. Okay. I'm very glad to see you here. Okay. All the other professors have received the thesis copy of Judilyn, but I expect her to present first, like to share screen and to prepare slides and so on. So Judilyn, if you have anything like this, you can feel free, please, to share your screen to have a 5-minute presentation at least.
Yeah, it's better like this because I think they receive, I'm sorry, then I interrupt Julie a little bit because that. Since they didn't make a presentation.
No.
Julie.
They received the copy, but actually first Judilyn has to share her screen and do a presentation, a quick presentation.
Okay. Okay, you can share, Julie.
Dr. Fleur, I didn't receive a copy of her thesis.
Yes, Sarah already said to me that she sent for some, but she didn't send to everybody, right, Sarah?
No, I sent to them all, but I'm not sure you have received my email.
She
No,
said
I
she
didn't.
sent.
I didn't receive a copy of it. No.
Okay, I will check.
Yeah, because this is
So
important.
yeah, the other professors, can you please confirm if you have received my email?
I have it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
have it too. I have gotten it too.
Yeah, okay. So I think there might be an issue with my email to you, Professor Mabel. I'm sorry for that, but I will check.
Dr. Joseph, did you receive?
Yes, I did.
Great. And
Yeah.
Judilyn, maybe are you able to open your screen and show your dissertation?
Okay, I'll try. Can you see my screen?
Yes. There's something on the back, but you need to open here. Yeah. You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. We have 5 minutes to expose how you made your dissertation. Go through the page until the end, please, for them to overview.
But this is my copy, Dr. Flory. This is my copy. It's not the one that I submitted to you. Is that okay? Oh, shoot.
You don't have the final copy that you submit?
Oh, yeah.
Then this is the one.
Okay.
You can talk about how you build. Judilyn.
Yes, professors. How can I explain? Oh, here, yeah, here is my, on the left side, you can see on the left side is my outline. So you can see my, on this part.
The content. Go ahead.
Dr. Nelsa, are you
Yes.
listening me?
What?
I didn't receive the thesis. I didn't receive the thesis for Judilyn, just for Nouran, Sarah, and Winnie.
Yes, Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they will start in 1 hour. So, yeah, you are welcome to attend this part of the session, and then you can attend the second part of the session that will start actually in approximately an hour.
Yeah, it's the second part that starts 10:20 Central Time.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be in this class for the next thesis.
Okay.
But if you didn't receive the thesis for the next students, you receive for this one? No, you not participate for the.
Yeah, I'm coordinating this. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Go, Julie. Talk about why you think these subtopics are important, how you build your tables. Don't go so far in the tables. I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, yes. I use the
Go back.
research, mixed research. Pardon me?
Mixed methods.
Yeah, I use the mixed method for this research. And before I send questionnaire to all participants, I declare to them that all the information is confidential. So some people answer my questionnaire and some people pass it. So I send 30 questions to each participant, and there are 50 participants, but only 29 responded. And based on these participants, majority is the healthcare travelers about work, and second is about travel about pleasure. And I found out in this research that I can that these travelers, even business in pleasure, they are generating revenue to local economies. And I found out also in this research that while they are generating revenues, some negative impact also the environment. So I make a research about this. So while travelers doing their business or pleasure, they should also aware that the negative impact on their environment, and they should balance. And I can see in their answer that some people want also to protect the environment. Some also want to travel because they don't care about the environment. They care about their safety, or they care about their comfortability to travel. And
How you build your tables. This table, for example, explain some tables and figures is important here.
yeah, like in this in-depth interviews, I gather the information. This is a qualitative research method, and I use the thematic analysis. I use the free software thematic analysis to analyze all the trends. That's how I come up with this bar graph.
Mhm.
And
This one.
oh, this one is, as we can see, some participants, they are uncertain about the sustainability and sustainable technology, as they are all the same, 17.1%.
This is how your questionnaire was about, and the answer, what is more important, right?
Yes,
Okay, your response.
this is about innovation in technology in travelers.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and when I come up to this research, there is a strength, weakness, opportunities, and traits to be analyzed on this. And as you can see the table, here you can see if there's a strength, there's weakness, there's opportunity, and there's a traits.
Yeah, now we can allow the time for the committee to ask
Yeah,
the questions.
Yeah, it's
please.
better for the professors to talk now because we don't have so much time for the next, right?
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, professors. Professor Darnell Patton, you have any questions now?
So I, I do have one question. When you talk about the significance of a study, you talked about the rigorous research, but you also stated that we have structured the study. And so I'm curious to we being who? Was it you and somebody else, or was it just you? It just might be a typo. I just want a clarification. If you met some by we, or was that actually a typo? Because you stated that we structured the study around a rigorous research plan that involves gathering data, conducting surveys, and performing analysis. So I'm just trying to get clarification who we is.
Oh, I'm sorry, professor. This is not my original that I submitted to my professors. This is my copy that I didn't revise this because I deleted that we, and I can see
She
that I
fixed
didn't
it.
delete that part.
Okay.
She fixed it. When she used we and I cut this. I don't know why I received this copy because her hesitation was set up in grammar, in all pronouns, everything.
Okay. Just want to
I
clarify.
think it's the researcher.
So this
Some
is
struggle,
yeah,
right?
this is the one that I got in my
Yeah.
email. So I'll just
I don't know why they emailed the wrong one. I apologize.
okay, no worries. Okay, that's all. I'm good.
But she fixed it in hesitation, everything.
Got it.
What I think when she said we, she said the researcher. She, like when she made the research, she had some problems to make the questionnaires with the participants, maybe.
Okay, no worries. I'm good. That's all I got.
Okay, next, Professor Mabel.
Hi.
Any question?
Yes. Hello, Judilyn. Congratulations
Hi.
on completing your thesis. I have a couple of questions. Looking back on the research that you did, can you identify any limitations that you can sort of say, okay, if I was to do this research again, I would do this differently. I would maybe ask these different questions. I would use a different type of research methods. So can you identify any limitations?
Yeah, my limitation here is I don't have enough time, and And some questionnaire that I send, I didn't gather there because I don't have enough time. And some participant, they want to respond that, but they don't have also time. And another thing here is, if there's a future research here, I recommend that, like in the mode of transportation, maybe there's an improvement from the stakeholders, or in the community involvement, and the green certification program, education in awareness, sustainable accommodating, destination management, carbon offsetting, and sustainable food.
Okay, so my next question to you is, so this is not my area of expertise, what you said, so I'm learning from you today. So if you can give me 4 key points that you are hoping to accomplish with your thesis. So as somebody who is not familiar with this type of area, so what would you say to me are the 4 key points that you wanted to get across in your thesis?
My key point here is,
the key results, key points, key ideas that you wanted to portray in your thesis.
The key point here that I want is, while you are traveling, you should also think what's the impact on the local economies. Yes, it's true that you are giving revenues to the economies, but some also are negative impact. So if you could balance the sustainability to travel, then I think that's better for the future also.
Can you give me any other outcomes or any other key points that you would like me to know about your thesis and about your research?
The one thing I want to know is the innovation of technology, because most technology that we are using, like the GPS, is not accurate to show us the direction, or other thing is not accurate for the GPS. Technology also is like the reviews of the people. Some fake reviews that come out that cannot be corrected under, and some also are the privacy concern of all users of the technology. And yeah, I think that's the 3 points that I want to point out here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Professor Joseph Scalzo, please.
Okay, yes. Just want to preface my remarks first, to sort of get to the point. I find the thesis very interesting, and it sort of applies to something that I'm, familiar with because of my own background. I was born in Italy, and in southern Italy, and in particular in a region of Italy known as Calabria, which is the southernmost region in the Italian peninsula, which also happens to be one of the poorest, if not the poorest region in the whole country. And one of the reasons that it is poor is because it never really had an industrial revolution. So there's very little industry. And it still lags behind, parts of northern Italy. It's in a sort of a bind because, in a sense, it has a lot of positives. It has some beautiful beaches. It has mountains and ski resorts. The problem is, though, it's still very underdeveloped, and there's still an effort to try to, move it forward economically. So the thing that interests me about your thesis is that you seem to suggest that tourism could be a means by which for example, a region such as Calabria could develop economically. So I'm wondering if your thesis couldn't be used as a blueprint for economic development. How would you, for example, apply what you've learned to an area like Calabria? How would you sort of try to stimulate tourism and help the region economically to grow? I mean, it's not a place where you could do business tourism because there isn't enough business there to do the business tourism, but I think it would work very well for leisure, tourism. So how do you think your thesis would apply to a situation such as that?
Yeah, thank you, Professor, for that introduction from Italy. I'm drinking wine from Italy and I like it. So it's a good. Oh, well, Professor, for the number one there is the stakeholders should prioritize the safety of travelers, number one, so that if travelers are safety, they're always coming back, right? So
Yeah.
in that way, they're always coming back. When they feel safe, they are coming back, and that's how we generate income. And number two is the technology. I didn't go in Italy, and I don't know how the innovation there, but mostly country that I see is the problem is the innovation of the technology, because we cannot, there's some places that there's no signal and all tourists are relying on the GPS.
Yeah.
I think that's the two things that I can suggest. What do you think, Professor?
What about infrastructure? How would that factor in? Would they have to, for example, would infrastructure be a key component of that? You would have to have some sort of basic infrastructure, I would assume, so that you could make the tourism business, viable.
Oh yeah, the infrastructure, the government, of course, that is one of the stakeholders, because we cannot move here if there's no government to work towards this, the tourism government, for the accessibility, especially for the public transport like that. Do you have any more question, Professor?
I think that's generally it. I just I think I find that interesting, the whole idea that that you have, I think, in your thesis, that you could possibly use tourism as a way to develop an economy. And I mean, that's already happening in some parts of the world, but the problem with southern Italy is that it hasn't really fully developed yet, and I don't know if if your thesis could be used, for example, in a practical way as a blueprint for a government, for example, or a region to use as a way to promote tourism and economic growth in an area.
For sure, Professor. Or
anything else you want to tell, because we need to go to the next, but
yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much, Julie. Now we have Oliah.
Yeah.
Oliah is there. Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Oliah.
Yes, I'm here, Professor.
Okay, can you put your thesis over there, because I don't know if they receive.
Yeah, if you have prepared a presentation, feel free to share it, and yeah, feel free also to turn your camera on.
I have
At first, explain
a problem with my camera though, because
yeah.
I'm using an external one.
Okay, can you please share your screen if you have prepared a presentation, or yeah, just for 5 minutes?
No, I haven't prepared any presentation, Sarah. But have they received a copy of my thesis?
Yeah. Can you
Professor
talk a
Okay,
little
so
bit
I
about
can go
your
ahead and just
about your thesis? Yeah. You can just give general background or general info about your thesis.
Yeah, you can inform some.
okay.
I'm sorry, Sarah, to interrupt. Odile, you have your thesis over there, right? With you.
Yes.
What you send to submit. What you submit, you
Yes,
put on the screen. Only this. Can you put on the screen? Open.
Okay.
Share.
Okay, let me do that. Yes. Let me do that.
Okay. Because it'll be easy for the professors
just a moment, please. Just a
to
moment.
explain as well. Okay.
Okay. Just a moment, please.
No problem.
Okay. I don't know. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so
Only-
much.
Okay. You can start to explain how you did your research, your topic, your methodology, your research questions. How you can summarize this in 5 minutes?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. I would like to first start by greeting everyone present. Good morning, esteemed members of the thesis committee and my colleagues that are present. And thank you for your time. My name is Oliah DIdi, and I am honored to be here today presenting my research and defend my thesis. The title is A Look into the Ways Gender Affects Developing Entrepreneurial Skills, and it's a case of South Africa. So over the past 4 months, I have dedicated myself to trying and explore the ways gender affects developing entrepreneurial skills. I work as a general manager in a family business, and my reason for taking up this course is that it really provides with an opportunity to develop advanced leadership and management skills, and also it really helps in including strategic thinking and decision making. So during my academic journey with Windsor, I have had a privilege of receiving knowledge from esteemed lecturers, and I want to thank them all, and especially to my mentor for this paper, Dr. Fleury. Thank you very much for your support and everything that you did for us. Right. In my presentation, I will provide an overview of my research objectives, methodologies, and the significance of my study, the limitations, and the findings, and some recommendations. So I'll go straight away to the reasons why I chose this topic particularly. It's because I have personal interest in these issues of gender equality, and I have always been passionate about promoting gender equality and empowering individuals to pursue entrepreneurial ventures. So it's also because I do understand the concept, or I understand it in the context of South Africa, seeing that the socio-cultural factors and economic conditions that are currently prevailing in South Africa really make it an interesting topic to study on, as statistics has shown us that there is a gender gap when it comes to entrepreneurial activities. The rates are high in South Africa compared to other countries. So my research questions, I'll go to page 21. That's where I have my research questions. It's yes, page 21. Just a moment, please. Right, so these are my research questions. Right, so my research questions, the first one was how does gender influence the acquisition, development, and utilization of entrepreneurial skills amongst individuals in South Africa? And the second one was, what are the unique challenges and barriers faced by women in South Africa in developing entrepreneurial skills? Then the third one was, what strategies can be implemented to promote gender equality and inclusivity in entrepreneurial skill building initiatives? So I write through my paper. These are the questions that I was trying to answer. And when I go to the methodology, I used qualitative study technique. I use this to explore the complex ways that gender affects the acquisition of entrepreneurial abilities within the context of South Africa. I also went on and used focus group discussions and structured interviews to collect the data. Right, so then I used participant selection as the research design. And this is part of the data that I managed to collect and put up and present. So on this data, it shows us that generally it's men who are still at the top of everything, hence leaving women still at the bottom, and with a few women taking part in business. It's still male dominated in different sectors. It's still male dominant, right? So when I went through to the significance of my the significance of my paper. Right. I really think my research recommendations, when approved, they can help to contribute to the design and to design policies and support programs for women entrepreneurs, and maybe or even development of gender sensitive policies, especially looking at the case of South Africa. So by disseminating my research findings, if approved, maybe through academic publications and conferences, I plan to use my research further by collaborating with local entrepreneurship support organizations in South Africa, and also maybe work closely with women entrepreneurship networks that are available currently to develop training programs and mentorship initiatives that address the gender-specific challenges identified in my research. So
I'm sorry for the interruption, Oliah. Yeah, I
Yes.
think this is enough. If you want to add anything in 1 minute, please, that will be enough for the
Okay.
professors to have time to ask you questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. No.
Sarah, I want to say we'll delay a little bit, I'm sure, but I think this will expect because some didn't receive the thesis, some didn't have time to read, and she explained will be better for the professor to make the questions. I think so. Of course,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
spent more
actually,
time.
yeah.
I apologize.
No, not
Uh,
at all. But yeah,
uh,
the professors have received the copy, so don't worry about it.
okay. So I just continue and try to do the conclusion thereof. So I was gonna say the challenges that I mainly encountered or the limitations when I was conducting my research is the socio-cultural norms and stereotypes that are related to gender roles and expectations, because some participants were not willing to disclose some sensitive information, and this really affected in getting enough data that I was looking forward to getting. So in conclusion, the thesis emphasizes on the difficulties women encounter when learning how to start their businesses and when they take part in programs that promote entrepreneurship. And their access to economic opportunities like education and training is frequently restricted by gender equality and some societal standards, which make it so difficult for them to pursue any entrepreneurial endeavors. So, to advance gender equality and realize uh, South African women's potential, all of these issues really need to be solved. So as recommendations, I recommended that it has to take an all stakeholder approach. We need to get everyone on board and encourage on programs that promote gender equality, inclusive, especially in entrepreneurship, by maybe providing programs for women only in entrepreneurship and that are specifically designed to meet their needs and maybe overcome some particular obstacles. With that being said, I think I would just end here and thank you all for listening to my short presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. You did great. Now, Professor Patton, can you make any question?
Sure. Thank you for your presentation. I thought you did a great job. But my question for you is, as I was reading through it, can you explain your research method and why you chose that particular method?
Okay, I chose qualitative study technique, and I chose this because it is a qualitative, it is a method that that is easy to use according to me when compared to quantitative that requires a lot of formulation of data and presenting it. With qualitative, the presentation and formulation is not as like hard, if I can say that, when compared to the other methods. So that's generally the reason why I chose that methodology, and it is in line with my the objective or the real reason that I wanted to find out, because it's something that I can't like quantify all the way through, right? It's something that I can only maybe write down about the ideas and present them in a few numbers than when compared to the quantitative data analysis.
Great. Thank you. Great response. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Mabel, please, Professor Mabel.
Hi, yes. Oliah, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Oliah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's Oliah.
Oliah. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No
First of all, I
problem.
want to say that was a very good summary of your presentation. You appear to have put in a lot of work. So congratulations on getting to this stage. My question to you is with regards to your questionnaire and your qualitative research. Did you, first of all, what age group of participants did you interview, and was that a conscious decision to interview that particular group, or did you interview various ages to get an overall perspective?
Thank you for the question, Professor. Yes, I did interview various groups, and I have the statistics on page 25. The age groups that I interviewed is 40 plus, and also 25 to 30, and also 31 to 40, and with 18 to 24. So these are people that are already in businesses, because the place that I chose to do my study is like a business area that has offices, different offices for different type of businesses. So these kind of people, or this type of age group, is already people that are already in trying to do their businesses. They are entrepreneurs, and they are actually trying to do some business there.
So you actually raised a good point, which actually leads into my second question. You mentioned that you were very specific about the type of participants. So my question is, why didn't you broaden the net? Because the participants that you've chosen, you're more than likely going to get a specific response from them. But my question is, why didn't you maybe seek out some other participants who were not within this demographic that you were seeking, just to kind of get an overview? Because some of the questions you were asking was with regards to the differences in males and female males, and the gender differences. So I would have been interested to kind of find out from people who are not within this realm what their thoughts were on this particular subject. So I mean, I know you mentioned limitations, but I feel like that was probably a limitation that can be addressed in further research, in terms of looking at people who are not within your target group and kind of finding out what their thoughts are on these subjects and relating it to the two. Looking back, if you did something like that, what do you think the results would have been? Do you think it would have changed your research, changed your outcomes? So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I think you're really bringing up something that is eye-opening right now. I think I could have done that and found some response that are obviously going to be maybe different from the age group that I targeted. But the reason why I targeted the ones that I presented is because these are already people that are actively in entrepreneurship. These are people that are already available, depending on the environment, the business environment that I was targeting. You wouldn't find anyone who is over 60 or where I was targeting. But I really think, yes, it could have brought a different dimension altogether if I had went on and broadened my research, and asked them how they feel about all sort of things.
Not necessarily with regards to in entrepreneurship, but I mean, you're saying that you didn't want to ask anybody who is 60, but you never know, you could have found some people who are in that age group who have been entrepreneurs for their life. But in terms of some of the questions, I just want to, because there was a couple of questions that you asked in your research. For example, you said, how do you think gender influences in entrepreneurship prospects and results? So I'm talking in terms of maybe somebody who has thought about it, but again feels that they would not get anywhere because they are a female, so they decided not to do it. So I wanted to find out, like, if your research had covered those type of people who maybe thought that, okay, there is this differentiation, and I believe that I'm not going to get anywhere because I'm a female in a male dominated area, or whichever it is. So I'm just kind of, I just wanted to know, like, if those type of participants would have played a bigger role in what your outcomes were, because you were looking at gender,
Yes.
you were looking at gender influences as a whole in some of the questions that you were asking. So that's kind of like where I was going there, because some of the questions were not very specific to what you were, your research. So this is kind of like where I was going. But overall, you did a great job. And I think that, you know, you touched on some points as to how you can further progress with this kind of area that you're going in. So I do hope that you do some of the things that you mentioned in terms of moving forward, because I believe that you'll be very successful. So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor Joseph Scalzo, please.
Okay. Oliah, first of all, I think it's a very interesting study. My question would be, how would you apply what you've learned in your research to actually improving the gender equality of women in South Africa? Would you, for example, focus on trying to get government funding for possibly microloans to women to start businesses, or would you rather focus maybe on non-government organizations, or possibly creating, a nonprofit organization, which women who are already in the business world might be able to contribute funds to grow, through microloans to other women, more business opportunities for the women in South Africa, and improve gender equality at the same time. So just wondering what your thoughts would be on that.
Thank you, Professor. Yes, I definitely would really want to try that. Actually, I have of late registered an NPO, and with that in mind, it's just that because I find it's not easy anyway, even to become a social entrepreneur in South Africa, because of all the reasons that I've mentioned. I haven't even managed to really get it going, but I have registered an NPO, and I have all those things lined up that I want to do and help women to be better, and to live sustainably. So yes, it's really something that I've been thinking about, and that I'm actually planning to do with the help of maybe funding. I would certainly do that. But because even if you apply for funding because you're a female, it's really hard to penetrate even the funding systems. They will just not even approve you, and for other reasons I don't know, but generally from the outlook of things, if you are a female, you are viewed as you can't do it. So but I really hope I can find funding and get on doing that. So yes, it's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I would just want to add one more thing. Would you consider possibly? I think these types of initiatives are quite popular here in the United States. So have you ever thought about, for example, if you start this nonprofit organization, of seeking funding from a country like the United States, or maybe the European Union, something to that effect?
Yes, I have tried to submit, maybe I can say to date 5, but I haven't been lucky to get an approval. So I'm really, yes, trying hard to seek funding towards that initiative.
Okay. Thank you. It's very good. Very interesting.
Thank you very much for all the professors that help us and support my students. And I hope you like the dissertations. They did what they could do the best. Thank you for Oliah for your presentation. It was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Sorry, before before you choose the next presenter, is it okay if I can leave the meeting now?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Okay,
And
thank
now
you very
only
much.
the professors will be in 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes break. I don't think we have 10 minutes, 5 minutes break to start the next one.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I got the thesis for two students, the last two. I don't know about the third one. Who's the
Now, the second group will be Professor Desi, Professor Isaac Johnson, Professor Kazin Layal, Professor Layal Arid, Professor Noir John, only.
Okay,
The 3 others professors, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
If you want to be present to check our other students, you're welcome. Thank
We'll
you.
see. I do have another appointment coming up soon, so
No
okay.
problem, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. The next, Judilyn, no. Judilyn already did. Hold on. Next, Nora. Nora, are you there already?
Yeah. So
Okay.
starting now or having the break first?
Now have the break, but you can post your dissertation here if you want, or put the camera on.
Yeah.
We
sure.
asked everybody to put the camera on, and the dissertation as well. You can post, and you have only 5 minutes to present. No more extend. You summarize some points for the professors to make the questions, because the time is very tight now. Please.
Okay. I have opened my camera, but I don't know why it is not working properly. The meeting might be in the accessibility or something. Give me one moment, please.
You have the last version with you, right?
Actually, I have prepared a presentation. I thought that it will be better presenting a presentation way, which covers all aspects of my research. So that would be better for me.
Okay.
But for the camera, actually, I don't know what is happening. It is working actually locally on my laptop, but my image doesn't appear.
Okay, put the thesis over there then, for you to overview 5 minutes. I will measure 5 minutes when we start,
Yeah.
okay?
As I explained, I will present from a presentation, not the thesis. So, yeah.
Because we had the problem here with the...
So, good.
We start with
I'm
some
starting.
professors didn't receive, some professors didn't read. I don't know. I hope when you present, they can overview better and make the questions.
Yeah.
And
Can I
Sarah.
start?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
What
Yeah, go
time
on.
we can start now, or what do you think? Or wait?
Yeah, sure. I think all of them are ready, actually. You can confirm that, professors.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're okay, we can go on. If not, yeah, you can take a couple of minutes break if you want. Also,
Okay,
Professor Nelson.
Professor Desi? Are there?
Hello.
Desi is not.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
okay.
she is here.
I'm sorry. Okay, Professor.
Yeah, I'm ready to go
Where
whenever
is
you
she?
are.
I didn't see.
The name is Stoicheva. So maybe that's why I don't
Okay.
see, because
It's different.
Stoicheva.
Story.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what a nickname I have
Yeah,
here.
no, that's fine.
Professor Isaac Johnson. Isaac?
Yes. Yes, I'm ready to go when you are.
Okay. Kaysen?
Yes, Professor Carlson.
Carlson. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, Carlson. Professor Layal. I know she's here. Layal? Now she left.
Yes.
Okay. Professor Lyall.
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, great. I'm sorry to call you. Professor Anohar Johnson.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, then everybody's here. We can start with the presentation now because we don't use much your time. And Nouran.
Yeah.
I need to see your
Firstly,
screen because I didn't. I am seeing Professor Kaiser in the screen here.
Yeah, I'm sharing that.
Yeah. Okay. 5
So,
minutes, Nora. 10:45, you finish, okay?
Actually, I have prepared a presentation which will most actually cover what all professors are thinking of. So I think it will be worth. First of all, I'm very pleased to be with you today, and I'm greeting all the committee members. Thank you for taking out of your time today to attend my thesis defense. The topic we are discussing today is business psychology role in enhancing organizational business performance. Actually, we will go through 5 aspects. We will have a short introduction, then having the conceptual framework and hypothesis, the qualitative data analysis, the results and finding, and at the end, the future research recommendations. So as an introduction, we would like to have some thoughts or deepest thoughts about the power of psychology. So when it comes to it, lots of pop-up ideas come to our minds, which is influencing human behaviors like the marketing and sales segments do in their jobs to influence human behavior, or power of thoughts, positive or negative, which affect positively or negatively our health and well-being. Analyzing people thinking, perceiving, feeling, and analyzing surrounding conditions based you perceive it positively if your psychological condition is positive, or perceive it negatively if everything is not going well. Also, subconscious minds revealing human mind secrets, persuasions and influencing. And finally, the positive and dark aspects of psychology, as we will discuss for the dark psychology, the manipulation, creating fear, etc. So the scope of this study is what if we can exploit the positives of psychology to use in our business productivity and organizational growth. Why this topic we are discussing today? The first reason that, for example, here in Egypt, I'm located in Egypt, we have been experiencing lots of economical challenges at the past couple years. And this actually lead that a lot of private sector companies like used or exploit this opportunity to like manipulate people about their capabilities. They are not capable, or they might lose their jobs, or we might like wake up in the morning, not find the current job you are employed in, cutting your salary into half. So they are like using the dark psychology to affect you, and instead of just using the positive aspects to contribute in your productivity and growth. Also, that it is important to discuss the minds, the human assets behind the work or the business strategies. The final reason that actually it was the first time to discuss a topic like that here in Egypt. Most of the people focus on the technical aspects like marketing, sales, finance, but nobody focused about what behind that, about the asset, human asset himself. What are the research objectives? The objective of the research to assess a lot of combinations of different positive psychological factors and see how they will influence the human productivity, and as a result they will affect on the growth or accumulative organizational performance. What is the conceptual framework and hypothesis? Actually, the first section was a section introducing all the employees' positive traits. and how they are influencing his productivity on the organization. As a consequence of that, it will influence and enhance the organizational business performance with assistance of some tools like the personality tests and the business acumen skills. And whenever the business growth is positive, for sure it would reflect again in an image of a loop on the employee's positive traits, because he would like to be better, to contribute more on the success of the organization. The thoughts that was driving the hypothesis actually was, is the employee satisfied and motivated in his job? Are they working the job function they admire or want, or because that is what is available? Do they need to change for new experiencing and do job rotations inside organization? Are they passionate or experiencing absenteeism? This is a question for us. So also, do the companies consider the human well-beings, like the motivation they deserve, either intrinsic or extrinsic, salaries, and the work-life integration aspects? Also, what is the role of leadership and effective feedback inside the companies? Are there transformational or servant leaders or only bosses? The sustainable constructive feedback channels, are they available or no? Are employees empowered by their leaders? And what is the status of coaching inside organizations? For the organizational culture, are the company policies considering integrity, employees' rights, safety, or it is considering diversity and inclusion options, and they are supporting effective communication or no? And finally, how the company deals with the talent profiles inside the company. So they consider career development plans for them, or they engage them for more to be enthusiastic about their jobs.
Okay,
Also,
next. You need to be fast. I'm sorry.
Okay. Actually, it is important for me to explain that, because that's what will induce questions for
time.
professors for me. Yeah. So what about trainings? And finally here, do the companies consider assisting tools like personality tests and the business acumen skills? Now, qualitative data analysis. First, why we choose qualitative method? Because actually qualitative method is based on exploration and explaining phenomena and explaining complex research questions. So when it comes to observation and the explaining and describing qualitative method is the good way to do that. And also, the research have some numerical or simple numerical analysis that will be an evidence or explain a part of what we are explaining in our observations, but we don't totally depend on it. So I think that if you dig deep inside the methodology, you'll find it is even close to mixed methods, but still it will need final refinements if we would like to develop or have future recommendation for the future about the research. The survey aspects. So the platform was Google Form. The survey was around taking 15 minutes from each participant. The questions was around 36 questions assessing the 9 hypotheses. The measurement of variables was with a Likert scale. And the sharing channels was with emails and WhatsApp, considering confidentiality for sure. The target sample were employees from my company, engineering firms, and other past colleagues that both of them are from engineering services in Egypt. Number of target sample, there were 30 employees with 27 responders from 30 with hit rate 90%, and 1 was considered invalid due to the neutral answers that I experienced. So we are talking about 26 survey in total. Confidentiality was based on an anonymous responding mechanism. The limitation was the biases for sure, questions perceiving from side of employees, and the nominal human errors. Validation of the survey, actually a test was made with some colleagues privately before spreading the survey to see how they will perceive the question and if they are having any difficulties to understand it. The sample size and demographics, actually, as we explained, there are 26 respondents. Around 19 were males and 7 females with an average work experience of 10 years. And actually why I choose those demographics only, because the most important for me was not, for example, the job function exactly inside the organization, because it will not reflect directly about the satisfaction with the job. But what I want is to test their job satisfaction, whatever the career they are working on or the job function. The results and
I'm
findings.
sorry if I am interrupting you, Nouran. That was very good, but you just have like 1 minute more to
Okay.
some time for the professors. Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nora, as well. Instead, you did the PowerPoint to present instead to post your thesis, and I hope all the professors received the thesis. And I didn't explain the methodology that I use to make my students to make their research. But I try to build step by step how the thesis can grow and how they can build their own thesis as an assignments. And I think they understood until the end some the format that I did as well. I did a simple format. You don't need to explore formats from other universities, but something they can understand, and the professors can understand better, because it's about the audience who you read the thesis, right? And I think she want to talk about the objectives in their research. Is about the research questions that I clarify for them. The research question need to be clear for the professors. It's not the objectives, but it's the research questions. The objectives of the research could be one different from the research questions, right? They can explain. And Professor Desi, please, do you have any questions? And I hope all of you received the thesis. And you can start.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I appreciated the visuals and the summary that was presented. I think it helps make the case of an organized work when you can show it this way. So one suggestion that I was thinking of was if you were to expand on this work. So my impression is that this is pretty ambitious scope of looking into psychology's impact overall on business performance. So this is a very broad topic. And so you had a good start on looking at different variables around it. And so my suggestion would be in future, if you would like to maybe focus on, let's say, just the aspect of the leader. So how can the role of the leader, leadership styles, impact that performance of the employees? And so with that, there's some good research around the main leadership styles that are used and how they impact business environments and performance, such as autocratic, democratic, transformative, and servant. So I think as a future, that could be also a good stepping stone to kind of tease out all of these variables and see, maybe now I want to look at how the leadership style impacts this cultural dynamic within the company. And then maybe you can then later take the aspect of motivation, because motivation is also a very broad field of research that you can find a lot of information as to what factors motivate the person beyond, we know, salary, right? Beyond just the material motivation. And so I think that you have a good start, and you can really focus, if you're interested in this research, and kind of take the different directions, the leaders and the leadership style, and then the motivation and the employees themselves. And so see maybe how those intersect.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comment, because actually it covered what we have missed in presentation. So yes, it was recommendation number 5 that I have to cover later on, the leadership styles and organizational culture, and have more focus about because it is a very big topic that you can just explain in another thesis. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, excellent. So you have already identified the future direction. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's good. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the compliment. Dr. Desi was very relevant for her research. She did a good job. Everything is something else that she can increase her thoughts in the future. Professor Isaac Johnson, please.
Oh, thank you for your presentation and for explaining everything. We did have a chance to read your thesis, so I appreciate that too.
Thank
You have 9 hypotheses, so that's a huge number. One issue I have with that number, you combine a lot of things together. You say job satisfaction and motivation as one item, but those are 2 separate things. So if you separate all of your hypotheses into individual things to measure, that's like 18. So I echo my colleague's sentiment. It's good to narrow that to maybe 2 or 3. Just focus on the ones you're most interested in. This will also help you with your literature review, because instead of reviewing a million different topics, you can really focus in on those 1 or 2 and explore them in great detail to see how different professors, researchers, and scholars have explored those topics from a variety of perspectives and included different theoretical frameworks. I wanted to just ask you a quick question about the beginning of your research. Can you just explain for us the ethics approval or the IRB process that you went through?
You mean about the confidentiality of the survey and what happened with responders, or something else?
Typically, there's a process in the research process. Before you collect any data, you have to get the ethics approval from the organization.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. Actually,
So-
I have explained to them that most of my company colleagues know that I'm having an MBA, so they were very willing to support. Actually, that was explained even with a face-to-face discussion, not even through mails, because that was important for me to confirm their approval and acceptance for that. Yeah.
Great. And they all signed the form explaining the participant
Not to the extent
information
of forms,
sheet.
for sure. Not to that extent, but actually it
Okay.
was verbal communications and them receiving from them the messages either on emails, on WhatsApp. So that means from their side that they are confirming because they have responded already.
Okay, great. So it sounds like that's kind of a work in progress. Good. And then just one other thing to clarify. So your study is quantitative because you've used a survey.
Yeah,
So
qualitative.
the survey you've used is quantitative. It's using a Likert scale that uses numbers. So we can say that your research is quantitative because that's the instrument that you've used to collect data. If you're using a qualitative approach, you could have interviews or other ways to collect data, but then you need to include that information if it's a semi-structured interview, a structured interview, etc., to explain how that data was collected and how it was analyzed and different information there. Just to clarify that point.
Yeah, according to what I have studied in the university and some dissertation as I have checked, that there was a lot of qualitative researches that was based on such sort of survey. And actually the survey here was the main goal is to have some observation which can be explained and described. And the numerical analysis is not because it is quantitative, but it have to be an evidence from my side for the people to show what I'm describing, because if I'm explaining without evidence, that will not be enough evidence for people after publishing that what I'm saying is correct. So we can explain it that it is almost going to the edge of being a mixed methodology, and this is something I have explained here in the future recommendation, because if I will continue researching this thing, I would prefer to have a mixed method, because I would love to have a bigger sample and would love to assess more numerical statistical analysis on professional software. So yeah, your observation is correct for sure.
Okay, thanks. I think Dr. Stoysheva wanted to say something, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick clarification, maybe the difference between descriptive statistics and descriptive study. So descriptive study would be a qualitative study, which would involve the, the qualitative tradition, whether it's a case study, ethnography, or, any of those. Well, here I think they're trying to use Likert type scales, which is very much a quantitative approach to research, but using more of descriptive statistics, such percentage of people answered certain way, without going into actual full quantitative statistical analysis. I think that's kind of what my understanding was of what the method is, but I would agree that maybe labeling it as mixed method versus qualitative, because it's not within the qualitative tradition. So I would have to agree with Dr. Isaac. So just a suggestion from the methodology type of side of the comments.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for your
clarifying.
comment. Thank you.
Okay, you are correct. I think I recommend her to use mixed methods. And I saw the scale and I recommend to do the quantitative. I need to check her research because I don't know if she makes some changes. I will check after.
No, I didn't make any changes,
No?
Professor. And yeah, as we confirm it together that it is qualitative. Yeah.
Yeah, but the scale, they are correct. Okay, next, Professor Kaysen, please.
Yes. Hello, Nouran.
Hello,
First
Professor.
of all, I would like to congratulate you on reaching this stage.
Thank you.
The major findings of the study included 3 cases. Could you discuss a little bit about the implications of working under a supervisor who lacks the true leadership qualities, as highlighted in the 3rd case? How did this impact employee productivity?
Okay, so we are talking about the case that when we are experiencing a boss instead of leadership, how it will affect the human productivity or employee productivity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. From my perspective, that when it happened for me directly, that my manager was a bit of a boss more than a leader. And actually, when I used even to be productive, proactive, suggesting stuff for improvement in my work, being a boss made him that he would like to stop a lot of things from them, because he is actually looking for process, bureaucratics, other stuffs which stops me from being productive. So having a leader instead of a boss make you productive. He supports you with discussing ideas with you, pushing you to do more, feeding you with the feedback needed, the constructive feedback actually, in which you have to improve with this feedback. And when you improve, we will be more productive. So having a leader manager is very crucial in work. And actually there is other thing that from the survey conducted, there was some people that was having or experiencing a boosts in certain areas and lakes in other, because they were due to the role of the manager in this sports. Because if the manager is a good person, even in unhealthy organization, he will push you for the best still. So I think the manager have a crucial role in this sport.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your question.
Okay, Professor Leo Arid, please. Leo?
Hello.
Hello, Professor.
First, I want to congratulate you for reaching this milestone. I was impressed by your presentation skills. Really,
Thank you.
You did it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Regarding, I have a couple of questions. How could you select the sample? As we know, we have 3 types of selecting the sample. probability sampling method, non-probability sampling method, and census.
Yeah.
You tell me, how could you select the sample? Based on what?
To be honest, when selecting sample, I was very focused on the people from my career inside my country, because that was the most you can feel the problems about the lack of psychological care with the employee. So, and since we were experiencing lots of problems lately on the country level, on the company's level, so the most logical sample for me was to be from my work environment inside the company. And actually I chose some other colleagues from my old company before this one, so they were both express how we are feeling in the sector of engineering in Egypt. That was the main criteria for selection.
All right, you select the purposive
yeah
method.
Yes.
I have read all the thesis for you in detail.
Thank you.
Okay. I have just one comment regarding the questionnaires. Prior to distributing the questionnaires, a pilot test could be done here. Its main goal to avoid problems in answering the questions by participants and problems in recording data. So the data can be done among 7 to 10 individuals of the authors, friends, and family in order to examine their understanding of the questions and key words and the time needed to complete the questionnaire. Just a comment.
So Your Excellency are elaborating that I have to should have tested before sharing, right?
Yes, a pilot test could be done before to ensure
that happened.
That all individuals are understanding the questions and the keywords.
Yeah, that was conducted here at the part of validation of survey, that I have to talk privately with some colleagues at work before sharing to see if they can perceive it in the right way or if they have experienced any difficulty in that. So I can modify anything before sharing. So that test was made.
Okay, great.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Professor. Thank you, Dr. Lyall. Professor Nouran Johnson. I was responding. Professor Nouran Johnson, please. Nouran. I'm sorry, see if I spell different.
Okay. Hi, Nouran.
Hi, Professor.
Yeah, it's a wonderful presentation. Very good. And congratulations for reaching here. I have a question for you. Okay.
Yes.
What is your suggestion if your research is being used in a cross-cultural situation?
Actually, that was one of my concerns, that for the future research, I would like to extend that to other careers and countries to satisfy this point about cross cultures, because I think for sure that there will be a lots of different variables if I expressed in another country. For sure, if I assessed in Europe or America, I will find different findings for sure. So at the current status, that was not considered in cross-cultural aspect, but actually I would love to extend that on my future research for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other question? Okay, I think they finished. I want to thank you, all the professors, for we really appreciate your time. And thank you, Nouran, for your presentation. It was awesome. And
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I hope you'll be successful. but
Thank
I'm
you.
sure.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
appreciate. Bye. Thank you. Now the next student will be Winnie. Winnie is here. Winnie. Where is Winnie?
Yes,
Let's
I'm
see if
here.
she's here. Oh, she's here. Winnie, can you post your dissertation or camera that you explained? That I hope everybody received the correct version, because she could only to submit yesterday the last version. And Winnie, you can start with your explanation. If you want to post your thesis there or your camera, up to you. Please.
So I am currently not able to share my screen.
I can hear very well.
Okay.
The sound.
I'm not able to share my screen, nor because it was just raining heavily right now and the lights are out. So allow me to just take you through the presentation.
You can share your presentation. This is what you mean? You can share your thesis? Can you?
No, my laptop is out, so I'm using my
I can
phone.
hear.
I don't know. My laptop is out, so I am using my phone. We had just lights out.
You don't have your laptop with you?
Yes, it just the power went out when we were starting, like at the middle of the session.
What you can share with us? We can talk about your dissertation, how you build your dissertation. Tell 5 minutes your story there.
She can give an oral overview of her thesis. Yeah, because she cannot share her screen now because she has issues with the electricity. So she can just give us an overview orally.
Yeah, I already said, Sarah. For her to overview, summarize the title, how you did the literature review, how you did the methodology, your research questions, and how you build your tables, please.
Okay, so my research was
More loud. I want to hear your voice.
Okay, let me try and just. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so my research was on predictive analytics and social media influencers in the marketing space. So my choice of this research was based on the fact that it's currently what is currently ongoing. So having gone through a bit of the history of other researchers, I just realized probably there was a gap in analyzing the data to understand how most social media influencers were getting more businesses, more brands to actually be able to transform into customers for the various brands. So my thesis aim was just to understand like the SMIs, the social media influencers, and how they were using this the analytics, the predictive analytics to support the various brands. So my first choice, my first research question, I'm sorry, I'm just using my phone. I'm going through up and about. So my first question was just understanding the predictive analytics to how the influencers utilize this in campaigns to support the brands. And the other research question was just understanding what were the factors that were supporting the influencers to actually support these brands to transform them into like a consumer base that was going to actually transform into something that was going to like go into sales. The other question was also understanding how the consumers, the sales for these brands, how the consumers were being affected with the privacy policies in the based on the fact that the SMIs were using their data. So my choice of the research method was a mixed methodology. I randomly chose two industries. That was the cosmetic, one business in the cosmetic, and the other was as a travel agency. My reason for these two is based on the fact that they majorly do their marketing online. So that was the reason that I chose that. My analysis went through the demographics. My choice of the age group was between 19 to above 50. The reason for this choice is just to understand which age group were majorly taking the social media as a platform to support brands, which we could see if you've been able to see my research. It is majorly in the age between 25 to 34. That is where there's a lot of influencers. So one of the factors that I was able to analyze was how the influencers were transforming these brands into profitable. So I chose two questions based on the fact that it's social media. So were the people, the customers, being making their purchases based on the fact that it's a particular influencer that was promoting a product, or was it because they just liked the brand? So one of the analyses was it's because of it's because of the reviews that were being done by the researcher, the SMIs. So that was one of the reasons. The other reason that I also went through to understand the privacy policy was the choice in terms of how the respondents were able to share their data. I gave some of the optional choices to some to understand if they could agree to share their personal data also to the SMIs, and that was where I was also able to understand their reasons. The thing that I realized about this was the fact that I did not use all social media platforms to analyze their data. I just went for one. So that was one limitation I found with what I did. And the fact that I did not go through the entire, different factors. I just did a narrow, I factored only the age, and the two brands that I used, and yet it was to go through the entire scope of the industry. So that's what I found as a limitation.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. And I want to hear from Professor Desi Stoish. Professor Desi, I say only. If you have any questions, if you have something to recommend.
I think that this is a pretty apt topic to look into, considering the current state of social media and marketing influences. So I think that is a good direction to look into, and how that impacts business and profitability and those success measures. So I had a couple of things I was thinking. First of all, I'm curious, how much did you actually find when you tried to conduct your literature review in terms of marketing research on the use of the specific metrics that the social media platforms are using to evaluate how good their influencers are. So was there research that was actually looking more into these metrics, maybe criticism of those, or something new and interesting that you might have encountered in this literature review?
Okay, so in terms of the metrics that were being analyzed by various researchers previously, one of the things that I noticed was it was not just the followers. Currently, it's not just the followers, that the numbers do not actually reflect do not translate into profitability for companies. That is one thing I noted. So there's actually a research that was done by I think a researcher in called who was analyzing this platform called in Weibo. So what was the main thing he found out was the fact that people stick to you, closer to you. That is now the stickiness of the followers is what translates to now like revenue to your business majorly. But just having followers right now, even currently, is not something that translates to you having a business online, unless people find loyalty and your content is actually viable, you have good reviews. That is when, like, your authenticity needs to be firm. That is what most researchers were focusing. If you're authentic and also you have good reviews, that is where you translate your brand to get better revenue.
Yeah, and then that also leads to the other question as to which platform, does it matter which platform the influencers are on, and whether certain platforms are more influential or more successful in contributing to business, or versus just views, because views don't always mean business and buying, right? So it would be also interesting to see maybe the difference in the platforms that the influencers use.
Yes, so that is one thing I realized was I did not do a comprehensive review for the entire, like for those two business. I just focused on Instagram instead of analyzing all the Facebook and also all the other social media platforms. So that's a limitation, but if it can prompt a further research, it would be interesting to have a look.
Sure, thank you. And I'll let the other professors. I have more questions, but I wait until
at that time.
Interesting, thank you.
Oh, next professor. Thank you very much, Daisy. Isaac Johnson, please.
Perfect, thank you. I enjoyed reviewing your thesis. One thing I liked a lot was the comparisons you've had about influencers and how they're defined. You defined the influencers and really organized that nicely to show how the concept has been understood by researchers over time and how that's progressed. I like that part a lot. Used just a table to do that. I have some questions about your research questions. So the first one is a question, but the other two are not questions. So a question has to end in a question mark. So I'll recommend that you review those two questions, B and C, and make them questions. This will help with your thesis. The other part is I didn't find your hypothesis. I might be looking at an older version of your thesis, but I couldn't find a hypothesis anywhere. Do you have a hypothesis that you can share with us?
Yes, I'll look into the research questions. So for the hypothesis, I was just, it was under, the major hypothesis that I had was especially on the privacy concern. Was this like the translating part of how people were allowed, the third party, it's actually about the third party using data using data for their own gain instead of now the influencers having to just use it for what they're using, and also brands using it for their own gain. So that was my major hypothesis for the third review, the third question. for the other two, I was just looking at the just going further from what had already been done.
Okay, interesting. I think that's something you might want to develop in a little bit more detail. And specifically, I was also a little bit confused. So you have the 33 respondents, okay, but who are they? Are they influencers? Are they people influenced by influencers? They work at these two companies, but what's their connection to influencers?
So the 33 respondents were just getting they have been the one that have been doing the normals, like they have been translating the sales. So just getting the difference from them. I had tried to get the other respondents, but it was a bit tricky. So I chose to just go for these two, for the employees.
Okay, so you're collecting the employees' opinions or impressions?
Yes.
Okay, so one other thing, a word I'd like you to write down if you can, is just triangulation. This word is helpful because this shows us we can collect data from different sources and it helps to validate our findings. So instead of just relying on one source, validation will help you to look for other sources too. Even if it's the same group of people, you can have a group discussion or you can have one-on-one conversations, and then you can have kind of pair interactions. You can do it in different ways, but it's important to collect more data about your subject than just kind of one data point. And I'll stop there and let other people ask questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Isaac. Dr. Kaysen, please.
Yes. Thank you, Winnie, for presenting your work. Well, my question was about the influencers you chose, but Dr. Isaac asked the question in a different way. Well, mainly I was want to ask you about how you measured the credibility of social media influencers, and what are the specific metrics or indicators did you consider? Like when you chose these employees, for example, why did you choose only those employees?
The reason I chose the employees, it's because they have worked in the industry, cosmetics and travel agency, and the fact that it's majorly they market their products there. That
More
was
loud, we can hear.
Yeah, please could you repeat?
Sorry.
Winnie.
Yes, I'm
The
sorry.
sound.
It's my end. I'm so sorry. I'm just having a bit. So the reason I chose these employees was because of the industry that they are coming. They are majorly the cosmetic and the travel agencies. And my choice of them was just because I think it was just the proximity and how they already have an understanding of the traditional way they have been doing sales.
Any other question?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kaysen. Professor Anwar John, please.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question for you. How do your research help in influencer marketing in majorly in Instagram?
Repeat the question.
Did you hear my question too?
No, I didn't hear the question.
Did you hear?
Okay. Yeah, I will repeat once. No issues at all. How do your research contribute to the influencer marketing in Instagram?
So for this research, it is just understanding the the main factors that promote how help brands to actually the choice of the influencers based on the fact that I just chose two metrics, the authenticity of the reviews that they get and not just the attractive posts that are posted there or the person that is the influencer. So it is just the research is supporting the brands on the choice of the influencer.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Only this. Okay, Winnie, thank you very much for your presentation. It was awesome. Make the change they recommend to you. I can check with you. And we see what I can do by there. Thank you very much. And now we have the next student. I think it's the last student now, Sarah. Sarah Wachira. Sarah, are you there? Sarah? Let's see. She has a problem with connection in her country. I don't know, but Sarah? It looked like she didn't come.
Hi, Professor.
Great.
Yeah, I sent out my presentation to Sarah. She'll project it.
Yeah, I can present it. I can share the screen from my end. She recorded her presentation. Yeah. And
Thank
after
you,
that,
Sarah.
yeah, you can ask her questions.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, Sarah, you can summarize your dissertation in 5 minutes, please. Can you hear Sarah? She was here.
I'm sharing the presentation, but I will just turn the audio on. So please give me a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
لا الصوت مش ظابط.
Ready? Sarah Wachira, you can summarize your thesis and can you start, please?
I think I'll proceed as Sarah tries to fix the audio. I'd already done a presentation prior.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Sarah, I can share the screen and you can talk, please. Because, yeah, there is an issue with the audio of the presentation. Yeah, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
I had projected maybe there will be an issue, so I had prepared the presentation. So I'll go through it. So good morning, everyone, Professor, esteemed members of the Thesis Defense Committee, faculty, and my colleagues. I'm Sarah from Kenya. For the past 2 years, I've been undertaking my MBA at Windsor University. Today, I'm excited to present my research on digital cashless payment in Kenya, which investigates the implications of gender equality, financial empowerment, and sustainability. I thank God for enabling me to complete my studies in great health and my family for endless support. I want to express my gratitude to my professor for valuable guidance, support throughout this research. So on my introduction, I chose this topic because digital payments are spread out in Kenya and could change the way money is handled. I'm especially interested in how this change affects the financial independence of women and long-term viability of cashless environment as a whole. This study looks back at the full investigation of the game-changing trend. It took as complicated connections between digital payments without cash and women financial freedom and ecosystem as a long-term viability. Kenya is at the forefront of the new financial frontier as a country and mostly uses cashless payment instead of cash. However, to deal with the important issues like fair access, technology and infrastructure, and the risks and challenges that come with that. My research objectives, number one is to investigate the impact of cashless adoption on gender equality and its financial empowerment in Kenya, to identify and analyze the sustainability factors influencing the long-term viability of Kenya cashless ecosystem. And the third is to examine how government regulations balance innovation, consumer protection, and financial stability within the cashless ecosystem. And the lastly is to identify the access, the potential challenges, the risk associated with predominantly cashless society and propose strategies for the mitigations. For the literature review, the current study adds to what already is written by looking at the effects of cashless transfers on men and women in Kenya. The previous research has looked at how digital finance could help women gain power, but this study goes deeper into their social, cultural factors that make it harder for women to access the digital finance. The methodology.
Next. Yeah.
Okay, to get the full picture, this study used mixed methods approach, which means it used both qualitative and quantitative data collection and analysis. 100 stakeholders such as policymakers, officials from the financial institutions, technology providers, and end users were interviewed in depth. This talk gave me a lot of information about the people, real life experiences, their thoughts, their problems, and how paying with cash, without cash affects them. Also, the polls were given to 100 Kenyans chosen to represent the whole country and get quantitative information on how cashless payments are used, why people use them, how they use them, the problems they face. To be able to do the description, the descriptive statistics, hypotheses, regression analysis, and all used to look at this data. For the hypothesis, my initial hypothesis was that going cashless would help women in Kenya become much more financially independent. This idea came from reading about how digital financial services might help women and make them control over their money and be financially included. But this study showed more complex picture with persistent differences between men and women to be able to access financial independence. This led to a new hypothesis. Cashless payment could give women more power, but only if underlying social and cultural handles are removed and everyone has access to digital infrastructure and financial knowledge. For my key findings, the young people, especially between 18 and 35, were leading the way in using the cashless and cards instead of cash. People are moving away from the standard cash transactions because they are good in technology and like things to be easy. Convenience and security as primary motivators. All age groups were more likely to use cashless payment because they are convenient and make people feel safer. They showed important for the digital banking services to secure systems and easy to use apps that are normally used by the banks. Gender disparities in cashless adoption in Kenya, both women and men use cashless payment to purchase what they need, but our research shows that there's a big difference between genders in how they use and access the advanced financial services. The government and regulatory is a balancing act because the rules are made by the government and have a bigger impact on cashless environment. For this transition to work it's important to find a balance between encouraging new ideas, protecting consumers, and keeping the economy stable. Some of the challenges, of course, their data affordability as a barrier for the people with low incomes and those who live in the rural areas. The cost of mobile data and internet access is a big problem. When it comes to financial inclusion, to be able to take care of this, everyone must have equal access to digital services such as banking services. Other challenges are cybersecurity, where we have malware and social engineering as a major threat. So for these mitigations, strategies should secure security protocols, user education, to be able to know how they should be able to share information, incident responses, and mechanisms. My key recommendations, number one, making programs that teach women about money and how technology is available to them. Working with different groups to lower the cost of data and digital infrastructure. Making cybersecurity steps and rules about protecting consumers stronger. Promoting fair set of rules that encourage new ideas while keeping economies. Some of the limitations in this study, some participants, especially those from marginalized groups, were afraid to talk about their experiences publicly. They were worried about their privacy and possible consequences. This made it harder to collect data from them, but using trust, they were able to give their experiences to full. The expectations, I thought that going cashless would be bigger good effect on gender equality. The data did not show some good effects, but it was surprising to see there were differences between men and women. So in conclusion, this study shows how digital cashless payments could change things in Kenya. It also shows how important it is to fix problems like gender equality, cost of data, and insecurities. Kenya can use digital finance to the fullest potential to be able to further better everyone's focusing on digital payments. Thank you for your time and attention. I welcome the questions and feedback.
Thank you, Sarah. It was amazing presentation. Love it. Okay, Professor DIdi, please.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for the well-organized and the visuals, in your presentation. It helps follow along. I also wanted to comment that it's an interesting topic that you've chosen because of how it's addressing quickly rising trends in the country. So it is pretty much quite relevant to study phenomena like that are going to impact the society, right? And then it's interesting also to see how you're identifying variables such as access to internet and digital access to bank accounts and equality or inequality issues, and specifically cybersecurity issues as well. So it's nice to see that kind of connection and maybe research a little further how these specific factors are intertwined in applying, fully this new trend of cashless payments. And so just a little bit more specific question, if you could elaborate, please, on, you said you used mixed methods to conduct the study. So a little bit of an example of specifically what you did for the qualitative aspects and specific measures for the quantitative side of the data.
Thank you so much for your comment and feedback. I appreciate it. For the question, based on my research, the quantitative and qualitative research, I was able to pick some of my colleagues. I work in a telecommunication company whereby we offer mobile money services. So as one of the channels to be able to lead the cashless payments. So I was able to work with my colleagues, work with family and friends to be able to get all this information from them, as well as get the feedback on how they felt, if it's convenient out there or not. I used a survey and I gave each and every person a survey, which they gave me feedback on, as well as semi-structured interviews with the colleagues to be able to get this feedback from them.
So the survey had open-ended questions aside from the structured questions, or?
Yes, dealing with colleagues, they come from different departments. The information that they provided for this research was open-ended because at some level they had more details than what I thought was there in the market, and as well as touching on different financial institutions. Apart from the telcos, there are banks. So their questions differ more because when you're using cashless, you have to pull money from the bank to your wallet, the mobile wallet, to be able to make any transaction. So the questions were all unstructured, especially to these financial institutions, because they came up with different feedbacks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate. And Dr. Dessa, maybe this is what I recommend. In the appendices has all the survey or questionnaire from the thesis. This is what I check in the last version that she sent. Thank you. And next, Dr. Isaac Johnson, please.
Oh, great. Yes, Sarah, thank you for sharing. I really like this topic. What we've seen a lot in technological development, specifically in Africa, is they've just skipped the PC and went straight to mobile, right? So what you see is kind of in the West, there's a logical progression where every new technology, you have early adopters, then it becomes the standard, and then there's another new technology, but then Africa just skips it all, right? It's the same with mobile banking. You're just having another kind of leap forward that just skips over everything else. And it's really great to see that, because for the rest of the world, we can see, great, now, we're being led by this other country that's made these great advances that we haven't even caught up to yet. And I think that's very humbling, and I always like to see those examples of innovation. Yeah, so thank you for choosing this very interesting topic. What I would recommend, what I would recommend is that you focus specifically on gender equality and wrap the other parts together with that, right? Because you start talking about making it sustainable, you talk about regulations for the industry, connect everything back to gender equality to say, to keep gender equality in the direction it's moving, which is positive for women, we need to have this specific type of regulation. We need to have the stability so that the industry doesn't change drastically. What I would do is try and combine those two things. I was a little bit confused by your data collection because the data collection, I didn't see anything about gender. I just saw things about age. So I wasn't sure what role age has to do with the gender equality. That part didn't seem to make sense to me.
Thank you, Professor, for your feedback. I'll take that gender equality and merge it with the other factors to make it one for gender. For the key findings, I merged the gender. Okay, I had a 50-50 for the gender. So for the between 18 and 35, or between all the age groups that I give these findings from, they were all from both genders, and I was able to pick now different ages. I was able to cluster them into the ages they were in.
Okay. I think that part needs some more clarifications, because if you're combining them together, then I wouldn't see how the gender, you can compare the differences if they're together.
Okay.
The other thing I found a little confusing is you say out of 100 participants for your data collection, but then if you add up all the numbers in either direction, vertical or horizontal, you never get to 100. So it's just not quite clear what those numbers are. So that might be something you want to clarify or go back and look at one more time.
Okay, I'll look into that. Though 100 is the number we got feedback from, it was more, but just 100 will give back the feedback.
Okay, and so what do the numbers represent?
The numbers on the graph?
Yeah, table 1, for example, you have age group, then frequency of cashless payments, then you have the numbers 20, 15, 10, 5, and 5.
For that, it was depending on, let's say, the user wanted more convenience, more security of affordability. It was the number of count for that particular item. They felt 20 of them felt convenience was better, 15 maybe felt security was better, affordability was better, maybe 10. So that's how I grouped them.
Okay,
But
so we might want to look.
Gender parts.
Yeah, we might want to do that in a little bit more detail, looking at the different answers. Were there more than just 2 choices, like yes or no? It was, I assume, a Likert scale of 5 or at least 3. So I think analyzing the data might be something else worth exploring in a little bit more detail. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for that feedback. I'll pick it up.
Thank you. Professor Hassan, please.
Yes. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Kassim.
Thank you for sharing your topic. As Dr. Isaac said, an interesting topic. So I only have just one question. According to your findings, what are the underlying social and cultural factors that prevent women's full participation in cashless economy?
Thank you, Professor, for that question. For the challenges that are there for the social, it's that men are considered more in every family tree. So you find men tend to have either the mobile banking, or they have access to maybe more loans. They have access to more payments that they have to make. Unlike women, before they make they go out there and work and be able to be paid through mobile money and use that money to be able to purchase something. It takes more of a man to be able to access the cash, even in the structure of a family, than the women. You find that men will go out and work more, and they tend to be the one taking care of the family. So the expectations, even in the structure of the family, is that they'll have access to more cash, more loans, so they'll be able to have that. So to educate women on these digital payments and how they can go about the technology, because also it's a challenge, especially in the rural areas where they don't have access to much cash or information. So it would help on that for women.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. Professor Oliah DIdi, please.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Professor.
Congratulations for reaching this milestone. You did
Thank
great.
you.
I have a question for you. Could you please explain for me the inferential analysis you have done?
Sorry, pardon me, can you repeat that again for me?
Yes. Please, can you explain for me the inferential analysis you have done in this research according to Pearson's correlation, the regression analysis you have done?
Okay.
Identify and the variables, please.
Okay, for this analysis, based on the different age groups from 18 to 65, I was able to give the questionnaires and surveys to 100 or more. What I said is 100 is the one, they're the ones who give feedback. So for the ones who did give feedback, I never counted them in this, but I'll specify that. So the questions that were there to be able to come up with this part of the analysis is, were the younger people feeling it's easy to use compared to the old people? Yeah, and as per the analysis, it felt feedback they gave, it felt the younger people felt it's fast to use and convenience because of the technology that is available. For convenience, security, affordability, you find the women came up strongly. That it was not that affordable for them to be able to use cashless payments across all age groups, as well as the cashless empowerment. They feel they're not more empowered. The women felt they're not more empowered based on their feedback that they gave. So for the cashless payments, women needed to be more included and have more financial knowledge. So according to the feedback they gave, that's the analysis that draws the findings, the key findings for this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Professor Oliah. Professor Anoa Johnson, please. Anoa.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, Professor.
Yeah, it's a wonderful presentation. The topics are very interesting, I think, especially cybersecurity and gender equality. You had already discussed about your existing challenges to become in the cashless society. My question is, what will be the future challenges, especially in gender equality, when your economy or the Kenya's economy move into a cashless society? Hello?
Sorry, was on mute. Thank you, Professor, for that question. What I foresee as a future issue on this topic is data affordability, whereby you find data, you have to be in a place where you have data, you have to purchase data. Despite having that, we find there are many institutions like the banking, they resort to using the short codes, which are the USSD, which makes it easier for those people with no smart devices to use the feature phones. They're able to use the USSD, so it makes it easier for them to just dial. But you find more people drive to the smartphones so that they have more features and they're able to access the apps. So the challenges I see is they need to have more focus on educating, let's say, the women in tech. Being a woman in tech, I know there are a lot of gaps even when you speak to the older people, some of them are not sure how to navigate some of these applications that they need to either borrow money or transact money using. The other issue I see, the cybersecurity, like you mentioned, we have a lot of social engineering from different people, the young people who are coming up, and maybe we can say testing the systems negatively to see how far they can push the system. So with the regulatory, they'll be able to make sure they keep up with the trends, trend gaps that might be there in regards to this, to make sure the consumers are not affected.
Thank you. That's a wonderful answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, thank you everybody for this time. Your participation was amazing and very helpful for the students. I think they learn a little bit with each recommendation. They can improve a little bit if they need for the future. And we did what we can do for this class for them to develop the dissertation. And of course, it was the first class that I built for them to develop, and was an experience that can be improved. And but I think they did a good job, because when they began, they really were lost about dissertation. They did, and some need to improve a little bit, but the most understand the concept, and this is the most important thing, is to finalize the program with the concept of one thesis, and is not a PhD yet. Then we need to step back a little bit because all the time some students were anxious, want to look the PhD dissertations. I said, don't go so far, calm down. You don't need this. You need a little bit more, but we need to figure out this is a thesis for your master degree program. And I think they built the best that they could with all the difficulties they had, because they had difficulties a lot. Limitations in the surveys, people didn't answer. They were anxious because they need to build the things. I made a lot of recommendations. I made a lot of additions. Some didn't even look my recommendations. I made again and again and again. Instead, that comes something. I apologize about some lacks in the dissertations, but was not what we propose. We propose to do our best for them, support them. And in different countries, different situations, economic problems, political problems, we had a lot of issues going on. And what I think I really appreciate, your participation this time was the best. And you did the best recommendations for them. I really want to thank you for all of you. Thank you very much. Appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have other opportunities to share. I hope so. Thanks.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for including us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for participating, and have a wonderful day. Thank you a lot.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.